How we doing? Today is Thursday, May the 1st, 2025. Still in the real estate tapping with you for today. The biggest thing is that demand is down. So the market is clearly shifting because, less demand means that the sellers, are going to have to make most likely more concessions, either with the price or, certain give backs or certain amenities that they may have to throw in to make their house more saleable. And again, this is not in every market. When I speak, I'm just talking about in general. This is happening in more markets than it's not happening in. So you still have markets such as here in New Jersey where supply is still low. So even though demand may be down, the supply is low here. So people who are selling are going to probably get, more people interested in multiple offers and things of that nature. So, but in a lot of areas, this shift is starting to take place. More sellers are having to do price reductions, and houses are sitting on the market long enough. So, on the market longer. So, if you're a buyer, there's two things that you really got to be careful that you're really not overpaying, unless you're okay with overpaying. Obviously, something, anything is worth what you're willing to pay for it, but if you're willing to overpay, it's just, how much are you willing to overpay? Most markets, you're looking between like 10 to 30% overvalued. So, just understand that, going in, and, and some people, might be okay with that, just to get the property. So, and then also, you should try to negotiate. You should try to, push it a little bit in terms of what you're offering for these properties. Kind of see where the seller is at. Are they listening to certain things? Is this a multiple bid situation, or are you the only one that's bidding? These are all things that, you have to discuss with your realtor, or try to figure out if you're, not using a realtor and this is like a for sale by owner type situation. So, but realtors as well, there's more than just a traditional way to sell a property. If you are in some of these areas where, that shift is more apparent, things are sitting, there's things that you can do. Because if you have a property now that's on the market, I would say longer than like 75 days, there's something up. There's a reason why, it's not selling. I mean, even though, demand could be down in your area, but, you do need to maybe offer something. And that what you should offer and talk to your seller about is seller financing. Because a lot of people have a lot of equity. And, one of the structures that can be done is, we could pay off, the loan that the seller does have, and then make their payments for the equity over time. Let's just say you have $200,000 worth of equity, and that seller doesn't need $200,000 to go and do whatever it is that they need to do after selling this house. All of that $200,000 doesn't have to go to purchasing another property or whatever they're going to do. What cash needs do they have right now? Is it 25,000, 30,000, 50,000? What do you need right now in order to get you to the next point in your life? And then what can happen is that balance, of that equity, whether it be 175,000 or 150,000, there could be a payment structure that's paid to you over time. And you're still protected because, you know, collecting those payments, that lien is going to be attached to the property. So it's not like, you know, something goes wrong, you won't have any recourse because you'll be able to get that property back, and then you can, you know, try and do it again, actually. And if you do it again, then you get yourself another $25,000, $50,000, and then you know, create another seller finance note if something goes wrong. But typically, if somebody's going to give you, you know, that type of money, they're not just going to walk away or default, you know, and making those payments. So, you know, it's just another way to kind of sell a house that people need to think about right now. And a lot of times realtors don't use these strategies. But, you know, in order to help you, you know, sell more homes, this could come in handy, you know, for the right seller. And, you know, I know sellers may not want to do it, but you have to look at the alternative. If your house is sitting on the market, if it's not selling, you know, and maybe you're, you know, not in a have to sell type of situation, and if that's the case, that's fine. But if you're somebody that needs to, you know, move on into the next part of their life, you know, for whatever reason, you know, these are the options you have to consider. So if you have any realtor friends or people who are selling properties and, you know, they want the price that they want, you know, we can discuss seller financing with them and get them what it is that they would want. All right. My contact information is attached to this, so you can reach out to me, you know, via phone or email. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon. Have a great one.